Workshop vlog number 16. It's March 2021. So little update video. We have a Patreon Q&A, so we'll answer a few questions. 31,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to do a little celebratory giveaway. So stay tuned and let's jump in. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the workshop. Now, like I said, this is workshop vlog number 16 and it's a full year since I started these workshop vlogs. So I started them when lockdown first happened, just as a way of checking in with people, making sure everybody was okay, shooting the breeze and trying to help you guys get through lockdown. And we're still in lockdown a year later, so we're 5 months now of a running strict lockdown here in Ireland. Everything is still shut down. We can't travel, we can't do anything, and it looks like it's going to last until sometime in June. So it's going to be, it's really getting to the point now. I think people are starting to crack a little bit. The pressure is starting to tell, and it's getting very, very hard, very, very difficult. So I hope wherever you are in the world that you're all getting through this, and it's not too bad wherever you guys are, and that you're safe, and that you and your loved ones are safe as well, because it's been a very stressful year on everybody, and the stress is starting to rise exponentially, I think, at the minute. And being 5 months now in full lockdown is starting to take its toll, I will admit. And I've just, it's been a year since I started these videos, and here we are. Hopefully we won't be here again next year. Hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel when we get to the summertime, and there's plenty to be positive about. So let's get on to the positive stuff, and I just hope you guys are doing well. So March 2021 workshop vlog number 16. Let's get into the few things we have to talk about. Okay, so first order of business, just hit 30,000 subscribers. Actually, it's at 31,000, heading to 32,000 now at the time of making this video, which is absolutely fantastic. So the channel is really growing, and more subscribers are coming along all the time. So welcome to all the new subscribers, and thanks to all the existing subscribers for all your support, comments and feedback, guys. It really means a lot to me, and a special thanks to all the guys over on Patreon as well. Well, your support is really helping this channel to grow also. So that means a lot to me. And we'll do a little Patreon Q&A. So the guys have some questions for me over on Patreon. So we'll do that in a segment in this video as well. So yeah, the channel is really growing, absolutely fantastic. And you guys seem to be really enjoying the content. So I'm going to endeavor to do my best to keep this content going and keep this channel growing. And like I said, we have a little giveaway to celebrate that, which we'll do later on in this video. So I have some nice little things to show you and give some away to one lucky subscriber. So yeah, there we go. Now my whiskey channel as well. If you guys didn't know, if you're new here, I have a whiskey channel where I do whiskey reviews. It's just a little bit more lighthearted and a little bit more fun. The videos are nice and short, and that's just past 1,000 subscribers. So that'll be linked below as well if you guys want to come over and join me on my whiskey channel. That's growing as well, which is absolutely great, and it's just nice and short and sweet and just little fun videos as I review some whiskies, mostly Irish whiskey, and a few bourbons and a few scotches thrown in just for a bit of fun as well. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. 30,000 subscribers. On to the next order of business. So here's something I also started 1 year ago, and I finally got it finished. Matt Esley's cabinet. I really enjoyed following along with this build, completely made from hand tools, and I learned a lot on this one. Really enjoyed a hand tool woodworking. That seems to be where it's at for me. And yeah, I really enjoyed this, learned a lot on it. It's a great build series, and he's got another build series coming up, I think, for a toolbox, which I might have a go as well. So I didn't have video on any of this, obviously, because Matt is doing it all on his channel, and that wouldn't be right for me to do. But I can show you the finished product anyway, so I'm quite happy with how it turned out. It was made from several different pieces of walnut. I built it over a year, and I was using the walnut up for different projects. So it has a couple of different colours, but I think it actually turned out quite nice. So the walnut for the carcass and the top and the bottom is much lighter than the walnut for the door, but it frames the door nicely, and also for the drawer. So I have some spalted beech that I pulled from the river way back when, before lockdown. I did a little video on that. I got some spalted beech from the river, planked it up, and I've used it in multiple projects, lamps and stuff like that. But so there's a piece of it there in the frame and panel door, and that turned out quite nice. And the drawer with the half-blind dovetails on the back, walnut and maple. Yeah, quite nice, quite happy with how it turned out. A few little issues, mistakes and stuff here and there, but it's all about practice and getting better at it. And this was a nice one to actually do. I really enjoyed the build. Learned a lot about cabinet construction and techniques as well. So definitely recommend you check out Matt's channel and his free online woodworking school. It's definitely a great way to improve your hand tool or your woodworking in general. And yeah, I'll run in some close-ups of this as I'm speaking, and you guys can see it. But I'm pretty happy that after a year, I finally finished it. Okay, so a few project updates and give you guys a few plans for what I intend to get done this year. Now, when I say plans, take it with a pinch of salt. The way the world is at the minute, best laid plans don't just go to waste. They get nuked, and yeah, it's just everything is up in the air. But this is what I have planned. I'll show you a couple of projects that I'm doing outside that I hope to get done this year. So possibly building a greenhouse, maybe moving the dust extractor outside. I'll show you what I'm doing out there, and yeah, give you an update on some of the projects that I'm working on. So first off, the hand tool cabinet. I have to get this finished, so I have to do the doors for the far side. Now, I was planning on maybe doing some hardwood frame and panel doors, but I've actually decided against that. This year has been particularly difficult in the workshop. It was a very wet and very cold winter, and the moisture levels in here they got up just a bit too high, so I'm going to have to get a dehumidifier in here, I think, because I can't have that happen every year. I actually had some mold develop on some of the plywood, or the WBP ply that I have in here. All the moisture resistant MDF is perfect, all the birch ply remained absolutely perfect, and all the hardwoods are actually quite good, and the moisture content in them didn't get too high. But the actual WBP ply started to develop mold. So building stuff for hardwood furniture inside this workshop is not a great idea, just because of how much hardwood can move during the year. And if I'm going to get that kind of moisture level fluctuations, I think I'm going to actually make a frame and panel door from birch ply. But I have a really interesting design effect that you can do with birch ply that I might try and achieve with the panels. So that's going to be an upcoming video. It's a nice kind of carving effect that you can do to get through the layers of birch ply, and we might do something crazy for the doors just for a bit of fun. So that's what's going to be coming up. That's where I'm at with the hand tool cabinet. So I've kind of settled on making them from birch ply, just because it's so much more stable, and if the moisture content is going to fluctuate that much in if your workshop is like mine, then making stuff from manufactured timber products is definitely the way to go, rather than hardwood in your workshop. So that's that. Let's get on to the MFT workbench. Okay, so on to the MFT workbench, and this has worked out great. I'm really enjoying using this, but I want to add the dust extraction next. So one of the biggest things that's still killing me with this is the dust extractor. So I want to leave my dust extractor permanently over there, and I have added, as you guys will have saw, the kinetic switches and the wireless controls for the dust extractor. It's absolutely brilliant. It's really cut down on the time I spend working over and back, especially when I'm going from my bench to my miter saw. I can just hit on and off the dust extractor over there. So I wanted that to stay there, but at the minute I'm wheeling it over and back between my track saw and my miter saw. So putting it back, plumbing it back into the main system, and then taking it over here to use the track saw is a bit of a pain. So I was going to buy a separate dust extractor and maybe just add a dust extractor for this MFT table, but some of you guys pointed out that why don't you just run another line overhead and come off it with a hose here, which is exactly what I think I'm going to do. So in an upcoming video, we're going to tee off my existing extraction system. We're going to come up and overhead. We're going to add a hose system here, and I'm actually thinking about putting the dust extractor outside, which is what some of you guys recommended as well. That way, no matter how good the filter is on your dust extractor or how bad it is, you're exhausting all the dust outside your workshop anyway, and that seems to be the thing to do. So I'm kind of looking into that for an idea. But next up on the MFT table anyway, we're going to get the dust extractor sorted out, and I've also got a kit for the router, which I want to kind of retrofit so that we get good dust extraction from the router, so that we're pulling from underneath and from the top here at the fence. So that's what's next for this. Okay, so quick update on the dust extractor and the wireless system, and just to answer some questions that I should have addressed in the video when I was installing this, some questions you guys had for me. So, system is working absolutely great, as I said already. It's made it so much handier and so much more efficient. Having switches around the shop to switch this on and off is absolutely brilliant. Now, address a couple of questions. So one of the questions you had for me was, why did I fit the controls locally and not in the subboard? Can this work with an NVR switch, and could you make this up as a lead? So I'll answer the first two questions as one answer. So can you put the controls in your board? Absolutely. You don't need to have this box here. You could just have this as a socket. Take this, stick all that gear on your board. You have a nice clean wall here, just straight to your socket out from the board. Why did I not do that? Well, this is where the NVR switch comes into play. So can you use this with an NVR switch? Yes, but you would have to wire this in circuit after the NVR switch and before the motor. So you would have to put this in circuit, which is why I put the controls locally. If I ever plan on upgrading my dust extractor to a larger unit, likely the larger unit will have an NVR switch, a no volt release switch. So it was better to have the controls here locally where my dust extractor is likely to be, so that I can wire between the dust extractor and this control. So in order to keep the safety function of the NVR switch, this will have to go in circuit after the switch, before the motor. So that's why my controls are local there. And yes, you could technically use this wireless system if your dust extractor still has an NVR switch. It would just mean that when you come in the morning, you would have to hit on your NVR switch and then use the wireless controls. And then when you're done in the evening, going out or whatever, just hit the stop button on your NVR switch and it just kills everything. And you can have an automatic function then in between the NVR and the motor. So that's how that would work. Now, another question you guys asked me, could you get an electrician to make this up as a lead that you could just plug in? Yes, absolutely. You could take a box, put with a socket in it. You could get a larger control box, mount a socket to the face of it, put all the controls inside of it, have a lead that runs out of it, and you could just plug that in. You could get an electrician friend, or if you know an electrician, to make that up for you as a lead that you can take to your workshop, plug into an existing socket, and then plug your dust extractor into that, and you have the wireless control functions. Nice and simple. So yes, you can do that. Okay, so next thing I'm working on is outside. So let's go outside and have a look. Okay, so here we are outside the workshop. You can see the dust extractor is right there. So I'm digging out this end of the garden. So I'm planning on building a lean-to and possibly a kind of a narrow greenhouse here and a lean-to section here that I can insulate for sound, put my dust extractor here, and yeah, it takes the dust outside the shop. Also keeps the noise level down. So that's kind of a plan out here. Now this may or may not happen. I'm hopefully getting into this by the summertime. So we'll be building a greenhouse outside, some nice planters, possibly a lean-to, and we'll hide the dust extractor outside and we'll take the pipe out through the wall here. But again, best laid plans and all that. And let's get back in the shop. Okay, so that's the plan for outside the workshop, which hopefully I'll be getting into. Another question you guys keep asking me is for photographs of the planters that I built. So I did share some photographs on Instagram last year. They were on my story, but they obviously disappeared. Now there's nothing in the planters at the minute because it's coming up, the spring has sprung, so it's coming to that time of year. So I'm going to fill them full of flowers again, and I'll get some photos for you guys up on Instagram because you're bugging me for them lately. And we're going to build some more planters outside as well. So my planters video, it has really exploded. So I made it a year ago. It's about a year ago now since I made that planter. It didn't get too many views at the start, and now it's just exploded. It's mad how videos do that. So yes, there will be photographs of the planters full of flowers in the next couple of months because, like I say, it's nearly time to start planting all those lovely flowers again. And we're going to build some more to go in the greenhouse and stuff, hopefully. So the next question I wanted to ask was about the workbench, and that's actually part of the Patreon question. So let's jump in and answer some of the questions I have from the guys over at Patreon. Okay, so I was chatting to some of the guys over on Patreon and asked them to send me some questions. If they had any questions for me, I'd do them in this upcoming workshop vlog, and some of the guys sent me some questions. So let's start from Sean Maloney. He asks, what's your favourite and least favourite woods to work with? Do I have a favourite wood? I love walnut and I love sapele, but they're also hard to finish. Now, I've been getting a lot of tear out with sapele lately, so that's been kind of bugging me, but I've made a guitar from sapele. It's kind of like an African mahogany for all the world. I think it's absolutely beautiful and it smells absolutely fantastic. And apparently there's a company in Ireland that are making whiskey and are putting sapele staves into the barrel. I think it's called 12 Buck whiskey. They're actually an American couple who are making in Ireland making Irish whiskey. So they're putting sapele. Sapele smells fantastic. So yeah, I love sapele, and I also hate working with it and love working with it. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship. Same with walnut. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get a finish on walnut, but when it does come up, it comes up absolutely lovely. So it's more of a love-hate kind of thing. Another absolutely fantastic wood is whitethorn or hawthorn, also known as the fairy bush here in Ireland. Now that finishes absolutely beautifully, but it's just such a kind of gnarly tree that you can't really get a plank out of it. but it's a beautiful, it oxidizes lovely, it has reds and pinks and oranges in it, but it splits and cracks apart like crazy. So it's a lovely wood to turn and maybe fill with resin. So that's another one that you could have a love-hate relationship. So I've made some live edge stuff out of this, and it's absolutely beautiful wood, but never ever cut down a lone hawthorn tree. If you ever saw my story about the fairy bushes in Ireland, entire motorways were moved because people refused to cut down these trees, these little small bushes. But that's another wood that I love, both love and hate to work with. So hopefully that answers your question. On to the next one. Okay, next question, Aaron Dawn. Have you ever made any videos that just went totally wrong and you didn't post? Maybe a bloopers reel would be funny to see. Well, I have hundreds of bloopers. It takes me 100 takes to do anything for any of my videos, so it looks like this is 100% natural, but sometimes it's not very natural, and it takes me about an hour to get going. But yeah, I have lots of bloopers and outtakes where I can barely speak English as it is, and what's in my head often doesn't come out of my mouth, and I often mix stuff up, so I have lots of that. I've never had a disaster in a project where I didn't film it, so I always share my mistakes, so there's never been that kind of thing. There was a couple of videos that I made that I was kind of boring myself to death while I was making them, so I said, nobody's going to want to watch this, so I didn't finish the videos, I didn't finish the products. Sometimes you just come down and you just don't feel it, you're not in the humour, and it's hard then, and if you're not in the humour and I don't convey any enthusiasm through to you guys, then you guys are not going to enjoy it either. Like, so there's been a couple of issues like that, or you know, get home late from work, try and make a video and you just can't do it, and you record a few things and it just doesn't work out, so that just gets thrown in the bin, just delete it. That's what I do with that. So I've never had a serious mess up, and if I did have a serious mess up, I think I would still show that, because that's an important learning lesson for me, and it could help you guys as well. So it's always important, I think, to share your mistakes, because it's a good opportunity to learn. So that's hopefully that answers your question, Aaron, and thanks for the question, man. So next up. Okay, so next question is from Dirk van Bergen, and Dirk asks, do you sometimes miss your table saw? Also, how does your family respond to this hobby? My girlfriend asked if I could now build an addition to the house a week after I got my miter saw. I know how that goes. I suggested we should probably leave it to the professionals, but it's nice to think that I can now build anything. Yeah, that's quite a funny one as well. I actually did build an extension onto my house, and I don't recommend that you do it yourself, because I worked 18-hour days for months on end, and I almost fell to pieces doing it. But yeah, it finally got done. We were a full year without a kitchen and an indoor tap. So my kitchen was a Black & Decker Workmate with a George Foreman grill on it for about a year, and the tap was outside, so that was good fun. We were living in the house while I was doing all the work, but yeah, it almost killed me because I was doing it all myself, but it turned out, and it's good in the finish. And yeah, so yeah, your family you do get kind of strange requests from time to time, I get that. And do you ever miss your table saw? Sometimes. For long rips, I think a table saw is absolutely fantastic. There's some really good jigs, like crosscut sleds and stuff, that you can build for a table saw that really does speed up the process, but you need a lot of room for a table saw. Dust extraction is also a massive issue on table saws, and I'm very conscious of dust, and just trying to watch the health and keep the dust out of the lungs. And accuracy on a table saw when you're working on your own with large sheet goods can be an issue. I wouldn't say I would never buy a table saw again, but if I was to buy a table saw again, it would be a really good table saw, a highly accurate, high-end one. That would be the only way I would buy a table saw again. Other than that, my track saw does everything I need, and my miter saw does everything I need. And I'm kind of moving towards the hand tool woodworking end of things. That's where most of my enjoyment is. These tables and stuff are fantastic for doing projects, for cutting up sheet goods. So when I'm working on the house, all this stuff is absolutely fantastic. If I'm doing projects out in the garden, then yes, you need all this stuff. But when it comes to my actual woodworking and enjoyment kind of things, it's the hand tools that gives me the most pleasure. So sometimes there is certain projects where you think, oh man, a table saw would be so handy here. But I don't really miss it that much, and if I was, like I said, to get another one, it would have to be a really, really good one to make me think about actually putting it back in my shop and freeing up the space that would be required for it. Like I say, a track saw can be put away, a couple of saw horses, and you can rip sheet goods down just as accurately with a track saw, or as more easily with a track saw than you can on a table saw. And yeah, so not really, and yes, I would buy one again. I'm kind of rambling now, so on to the next question. Okay, so next question is from Tony Whitfield, and Tony asks, how are you balancing all the videos and your business demands as an electrician? This is a challenge for a normal mortal, so you must have major stamina levels to keep this effort up. Well, it is difficult, I won't lie to you. I would like to get a lot more videos out on my YouTube channel. I'd like to do larger projects, but I can't really commit to anything at the minute. And I've actually had to tell a number of sponsors who I really wanted to work with that I had to put them all off. My electrical business is really, really busy at the minute. We service a couple of pharmaceutical companies, and the pharmaceutical industry, with everything that's going on in the world, they're all absolutely flat out. So they're expanding rapidly. So we're up to our eyes with electrical work. So yeah, it's quite tough. I was late last night. I was till about after 12 o'clock last night before I finished up with my office work. And I'm back in the shed this morning making this video for you guys. So it's quite tough, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And this is at my house. My family are just here with me. My daughter's out running around the garden there. So I get to spend lots of time with my family as well. So that's very, very important. And we have a new little puppy as well. I might even show him to you by the end of this video. But yeah, it is tough. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the work. I enjoy working. I don't sleep much. I sleep maybe about 3-4 hours a night, and I'm always doing something. I'm always looking to do something. I can't sit still for a minute, so this is actually a good outlet for me. So hopefully that answers your question, Tony. And let's get on to the next one. Okay, so next up, Pastry Possum asks, throwing in 2 questions, no problem. Have you given any further consideration to your new workbench and what it will look like? I'm drifting towards a Moravian bench. Yeah, I've done a lot of research on a bench now. I'm trying to plan for what I want to build. So I want to upgrade my workbench. I want to add a few things to it. Those Moravian benches are absolutely fantastic. They're a 20-degree angle on the legs, I believe, and you can disassemble them. So they're extremely strong and extremely sturdy. A nice slab top, which is great for clamping stuff too. So yeah, I don't think you go too far wrong with the Moravian style bench. So what am I thinking about doing? Well, I'm thinking maybe Southern Yellow Pine, just to keep the cost down. Southern Yellow Pine actually has a really good hardness value. It's right up there, believe it or not, even though it is a pine. But I've built my deck from Southern Yellow Pine, and there's a local Amish community not too far from me who build everything from Southern Yellow Pine, and they import it from the southern states in America. And I can actually go out and get as much Southern Yellow Pine as I want from those guys because they bring it in here. So as soon as the restrictions lift on lockdown and I can travel more than 5k from my house, which is absolutely ridiculous now, we're like this for 5 months, I can get out to the guys and I can see what they have. And the nice thing about Southern Yellow Pine as well, it's relatively knot free. So a couple of things actually it's worth pointing out that you need to think about when you're building a workbench. So if you are considering building a workbench, obviously you need to be able to work on a plank of wood, and what we need to be able to work on is the face, the edge and the end. So we need some way of clamping to the top to work on the face. That's kind of where this bench fails at the minute. I have dog holes down the middle. I need dog holes closer to the edge, especially for working on smaller pieces, doing more delicate stuff. When you're working on small boxes and stuff with the hand tools, and you need a slab top. I've got aprons on both sides. Although the apron is absolutely fantastic with the leg vise, I don't think I'd put aprons on both sides. So I think I would keep an apron on one side. In fact, there's a channel by the Third Coast Craftsman. He built a hybrid bench. So I'm actually leaning towards building a hybrid bench as well. Another thing we need to work on is the edge of our boards. So you have to be able to clamp that board to the side of your bench like this so you can work on its edge. And you need a way of clamping a board this way so you can work on its end. So that's the 3 clamping functions a bench must perform. And if it doesn't do all those 3 well, then you have to rethink about it. And this bench, although it's been a fantastic bench, it's the Paul Sellers bench. I built it from construction 2x4, so it's nice and cheap. It's only €100 worth of materials in this bench, and it's over 8 feet long. It's massive, so I won't build it as big as this again because it's only going to be for my hand tools. I have my assembly bench for my MFT. I'm going to build a hardwood version of my camlock vise. I'm going to keep an apron on one side, a 4-inch thick slab heavy top. I really like the tool well, so I might try and incorporate a tool well again. I want to put end boards on it as well with lovely dovetails to keep the top nice and flat. This top warped a small bit, so I had to reflatten it. It really twisted, and you really need a good flat reference surface. So all these ideas are what's going through my head at the minute. How I'm going to clamp my material, a nice flat top, what I'm going to make it out of, how big I'm going to make it, what voices I'm going to add to it. I definitely want to add more dog holes. I want to add them to the edge. I want maybe a better quality tail voice. So I might see if I can actually invent a tail voice. We'll see, because we invented a cam lock all wooden mechanism, and this works absolutely fantastic. I actually love this voice. It has a serious clamping force and it's easy to use, and it's a sheet of plywood essentially. And yeah, so I'm going to make this out of hardwood. We'll make it really nice, and we'll make the cam and stuff a lot nicer as well. This is still a kind of prototype version, so all that's going through my head at the minute, and hopefully I get to do this workbench before the year is out. It's a lot of work and it's a big undertaking, and it'll be a big project to try and film as well, so I'm going to have to try and build it over maybe 6 months or something like that, but I'll keep you guys posted. So there we go. Okay, there's a part 2 from Pastry Possum, and Pastry asks, a magic toadstool appears in your garden and presents you with €500. Wouldn't that be great? I would definitely run out and try and grow some more of those magic toadstools anyway. Before disappearing, luckily no one else is around to see it. You get to spend it on your workshop, tools and wood. What would you buy? Well, that's an easy question. At the minute, I would love to get my hands on a bad axe handsaw. I think they make some absolutely fantastic handsaws. I don't have a tenon saw at the minute, so maybe the bad axe large tenon saw would be a lovely little gift to spend that €500 on. They're quite expensive, but they seem to be extremely well-made handsaws, and they're saws for life. They're ones you can resharpen yourself. So I want to add some saws to my saw collection, and one of those bad axe ones was where I would immediately spend that €500. So there you go. Thanks for the question. Next up. Okay, the last question comes from Gary Shorthall, and Gary says, congrats on the 30k, John. Well, thanks, Gary. You're definitely doing something right. You might have covered this before, but how did you find woodworking as a hobby? My dad was a trained carpenter. He died when I was very young. Sorry to hear that, Gary, man. And so I didn't get much of a chance to learn from him. Most of his working life was outside carpentry. His dad was a cabinet maker. Never met him, but obviously highly skilled. So often wonder, is it in my blood? Well, I'd say it's absolutely in your blood by the sound of that, Gary. And the love of wood in general and the interest in it. I'm probably at home recycling a pallet, but wood is wood, isn't it? Absolutely. Once you're working with wood, man, you are working with wood, and yeah, you can call yourself a woodworker. Now, how did I become interested? Well, I'm always fascinated with making stuff, and there was just something about woodworking. Every time I came across a cabinet maker's place, or had a look in, or just get the smell of the wood, see the woodworking tools, I've just always been attracted to it. And I finally got to do some when I finally got a little workshop of myself at my own house, and I got to build this place. And I did some woodworking in school as a woodworking class. So like I say, always loved making stuff, and there's something about wood that's just so attractive, and that's why I was pulled towards it. And like I say, every time I saw somebody, a carpenter or cabinet maker, work with wood, I was just always fascinated and gripped by it. So that's why I was always pulled towards it myself and wanted to do it. So hopefully that answers your question, Gary, and thanks very much for everybody over on Patreon and for all your support, guys, and thanks very much for the questions. Now, I want to show you some clamps, and let's get on with the giveaway. Okay guys, so last but not least, I want to show you some clamps. Now, these were sent to me by Souter Shop. I didn't buy these with my own money, so full disclosure on that up front. Andy from Souter Shop contacted me. He said they have some new clamps. I was actually looking at these. I was thinking about buying them myself, but he emailed me just before I actually made the purchase to say that these were available. Would I like to check them out? He wanted to send me some. And in his email, he said, you don't have to speak about them. You don't even have to make a video about them. Just have a look. And it was just a way of him saying thanks for giving the guys a shout out on a previous video. So, which was very nice of him. So, like I say, full disclosure, these are sent to me. I didn't pay for them, but I want to give some away to you guys. So I emailed Andy back and I said, I'd love to check them out. Can you send me some clamps that I can give away to the guys to celebrate the 30,000 subscriber mark? Just a way of giving back to you guys. So I'll take you briefly through the clamps. I'm not going to do a review of these now. This video is going to get quite long. Just want to show you these are actually pretty well made. They are a serious bit of weight to these clamps. They're very robust. They're parallel jaw clamps, so they're ideal for clamping up boxes, bodies, frames. They do all the tricks. So let me get you in for a closer look. I'll run through them very briefly, then I'm going to give some of these away to one of you guys to get you guys started in your woodworking journey, or if you need some more clamps, then these are a serious set of clamps. I'm very impressed with the build quality and how they're made. So I'm actually so impressed. I've actually ordered some myself, extra ones that I'm paying for myself. And if you guys want to see a review of these clamps in an upcoming video, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll do that. But for now, I'll just give you a quick overview and then we'll give some of these away. Okay guys, so then very quickly I'll give you a quick look at these clamps. Like I said, they're parallel jaw clamps. You can buy them individually or as a set. And if you buy the set, they come as a pair, and you also get the frame press supports. These things are very, very handy. You can build a jig with these. I'll show you just how they work now in a second. You can put 2 screws in them, screw them down. They're like extra supports for your clamps. You can put one clamp this way. You can have another clamp straight through it like that. Set them up whatever way you want, screw them to your table, build a jig. If you're clamping something awkward, even an L-shape item, you can do all that. You can set it up with the jig, and it's very, very handy. And when you run them this way, this is perfectly flush with this and with the support that's inside in the jaw as well. So parallel jaw clamps, very briefly, if you don't know anything about them, they are ideal for clamping boxes, cabinets, carcasses, that kind of thing, because they keep everything nice and square. The jaws are perfectly parallel, and these work very, very easy. Just tilt the handle to pull it back nice and quick, and you can shove it forward. It won't go back, and then you can just twist this to tighten up. That's how they work. So tilt handle, pull back, push it up, nice and easy. You can actually reverse this as well, so you can have them pulling rather than clamping. They stand on their own, so if you're clamping stuff upright, you can do all that as well. Again, I'm rushing through this now because this video is getting quite long. I can do a full review on these if you want, but they're seriously heavy, really well made, and are actually really well priced. I was on the site looking at these. Like I said, I've actually bought some now myself. I'm going to give these guys, some of these away to you guys, and I'll buy some for myself because I'm really impressed with them. And I could have really done with these on the hand tool cabinet build. They would have been ideal. So they're available from 600, 800, 1000 and 1200. I have a pair of 600s here and a pair of 800s and a pair of 1200s, and I'm going to give away the 600s and a pair of 800s with the frame press supports as well. So let's do that. Okay guys, so that's a rough look at the clamps themselves. Now again, like I said, these were sent to me, but I'm not being paid. This is not sponsored content. I have to legally tell you guys that, because when you see me use these in an upcoming video, the 1200 ones, these were sent to me, even though the other ones that I'm going to get, I will have bought and paid for myself. But it's a legal requirement that I let you guys know that, so that you understand that you're not being advertised to, and I'm not being paid to say that these things are great. If they were bad, I would tell you, you guys know that, but they seem to be really robust, really nicely made, and they do come with all the bells and whistles and do all the tricks that parallel jaw clamps do. So if you're interested in these clamps, I'll leave a link in the description below to the Souter shop to these clamps. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. It's just a link I'll leave below. You guys can go check these out for themselves. Like I say, when it comes to the other premium kind of clamps on the market, these are very reasonably priced, and I've even went and bought some more for myself now. I'm so impressed with them. But I want to give these ones away. This is what you've all been waiting for. You're saying, shut up, John, get on with it now. Tell us what we have to do. So I'm going to send a set of 800s and a set of 600s. These are really nice clamps, and they would be a great addition to anybody's workshop. And it also comes with the set of frame press holders as well, or supports as well, so you can build your jigs, and this will get you guys going for assembling small boxes, large boxes, carcasses. You can actually put these clamps end to end as well, so you can extend them out. You can reverse the handles, like I said, and you can do loads of tricks with them. So definitely check out the Souter shop video on these clamps as well if you want to see all the stuff they can do. Now, so if you want to win these clamps, all you have to be is a subscriber to this channel. Leave a comment below in the comment section. You can say anything you want in the comment, but just finish your comment with "I need clamps." That's all you have to say in your comment is "I need clamps." I'll take all the comments from the guys who actually need some clamps, and I'll stick your names in a hat. I'll pull one out, and then in an upcoming workshop vlog, I'll tell you guys the winner, and then whoever is the winner, just shoot me an email. Now, in order for me to prove that it's you, I'll have to be trusting of you guys, and I've no reason not to trust you guys. But what I'll do is, when you shoot me an email, I'll give you a code word, and you comment that code word on that video, and then I get to see that it's you and it's your username, and I'll be able to get those clamps to you. You can send me your name, address, and I'll ship these to anyone, anywhere in the world. It's just a way of me giving back to you guys, saying thanks for all your support and celebrating the 30,000 subscribers. So that's it. A pair of 600s and a pair of 800 parallel jaw clamps from Souther Shop. These are pretty exceptional clamps in my opinion from what I've seen, and you guys will see me using these in upcoming videos. So if you want to grab yourself a set of these, just comment below. I need clamps. There you go. So there we go, guys. That has been workshop vlog number 16 for March, and best of luck to everybody when it comes to winning the clamps. And again, thanks for all your support, and it's great that the channel has hit over 30,000 subscribers. And this is Max. He's a new golden retriever, so he's helping us all get through lockdown as well. He's great entertainment, and it's great to have a dog back in the house, because life is better when dogs are in it. So we got a little pup for my daughter, and she absolutely loves him, and he is a gorgeous little golden retriever. So there we go, guys. And I also turn 40 this month. I can't believe it. Maybe in the next workshop vlog, I'll have something profound to say about turning 40. So the next time, in the next workshop vlog, I'm going to be 40 years old, which is amazing in itself, and something to think about. So there we go, guys. Again, best of luck winning the clamps. Thanks for all your support. Thanks to everybody over on Patreon. Don't forget, I have a whiskey channel as well if you want to join me over there. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get out of here for now. 30,000 subscribers, new pup, some clamps to win, turning 40. There we go.